Good morning, everyone. I hope you are well today. I hope everyone is well. Thank you so much for tuning in. I really appreciate everyone tuning in this morning. So if you are new to me, this is my session, my daily live all around coronavirus and UK business, giving you the relevant updates. Let me just make sure that I can see all the comments coming in. And if you are watching on the replay, do give me a hashtag replay in the comments. If you're hopping on live, please do say hello as you hop on live. I can see a few people joining us. Hello, Susie. Hello, Martin. Thank you very much for tuning in. Hello, Kimberly. Thank you for joining me today. So this session is around coronavirus and UK business and giving you the latest updates as they are happening in the UK. That is what we are talking about today. I'm going to just take a drink of my tea as well. So, excuse me, it seems like every time I come on live, I have a tickle in my throat. So thank you for hopping in. Do say hello if you are joining me live. I would love to know that you are here. So please do come and say hello to me. I do very, very much appreciate it. If you have been on my lives before and you know that you love what I share, please do share this out to your connections, your friends, your communities. Please do share it out to everybody that may benefit from this. If you are connected to people who are business owners in the UK, they are going to benefit from today's session. Good morning, Lisa. Good morning, Jody. Good morning, Donna. It's lovely to see everybody here this morning. So I have, as always, a pile of notes and a list of things that I want to share with you today. For those of you, though, that are new to me, that have not watched any of my lives before and are just stumbling across this, my name is Annette Ferguson. I'm CEO of Annette & Co, UK-based accounting firm. I'm a chartered accountant and certified Profit First professional, and we help business owners take home more money from their business, from them and their families to enjoy. Of course, just now, that is incredibly challenging for many businesses. And that is one big reason why I wanted to start the live streams each and every day to try and support you both during this time and of course beyond. So let's dive into today's notes. So the first thing to note is that in the budget that was announced previously, we saw that the Chancellor announced the scrapping of VAT on online publications and ebooks from the 1st of December. And he then announced last night that actually that was going to be scrapped from the 1st of May. So as of today, VAT on online publications, ebooks, online magazines, online newspapers, that has been scrapped. There is no longer VAT on that. I can actually see Chessie and Emma watching this broadcast. That is exactly what we were talking about just a couple of days ago. We were speaking about that December deadline that has been brought forward to the 1st of May. So from the 1st of May, no VAT on online publications, ebooks, online newspapers, all those kinds of things. Now, it's really important to note that there is still VAT on audiobooks. So if you sell audiobooks, there is still VAT on that, but there is not on the other online publications. So if you have that being sold on your website, you're going to have to make some tweaks to your website in order to action that on your site. So that is the first thing. As I say, that was announced last night, kind of late yesterday afternoon, actually, late yesterday. So that is something that has just come in. It is valid from the 1st of May, which is the date we are recording this session. So valid from today. I also have an update on some of the furlough situations. We were told previously by someone at HMRC that if you had submitted an annual claim for payroll and you had submitted a claim in the 18-19 year and you had then submitted your 1920 FPS submission at any point in time, you would be entitled to receive the furlough payments. If you make yourself furlough, you would be able to claim that. They could do a manual claim and they would be able to sort that out. Unfortunately, that has been backtracked a little bit. So now it has been changed to say that if the FPS was not submitted prior to the 19th of March, even if you had a prior year annual claim in, you will not be entitled to that furlough payment. That's going to be a kick in the teeth for a number of people who were hoping, because they did annual payroll and they had the previous year's submission in, that they would be able to claim. But it has been confirmed by some more senior people at HMRC that that is not now the case, unfortunately. So that is not good news for a number of people. Does that apply to paid videos? So in terms of the VAT scrapping, that does not apply to paid videos. It applies to ebooks, online magazines, and online periodicals, those kinds of things. It doesn't apply to audio or video. So no, it doesn't apply to that. Excuse me. So we are also hearing that the Competition and Markets Authority, the CMA, has launched a program of work to investigate reports of businesses failing to respect cancellation rights during the pandemic. That includes things like refusing to refund and pressuring people to accept vouchers as an alternative. The three sectors that are of particular concern to them, and what that means is that they've had a number of reports from these sectors or applicable to these sectors, and that is weddings and private events, holiday accommodation, and nursery and childcare providers. Those three are of particular concern when it comes to this, when it comes to the reports of businesses failing to respect cancellation rights. They are saying for most consumer contracts, they would expect a full refund issued under these three circumstances. So one, the business has cancelled a contract without providing any of the promised goods or services. Two, no service is provided by a business because it is prevented to due to lockdown. Or three, the consumer cancels or is prevented from receiving the service due to lockdown restrictions. The CMA is saying in any of those instances, they would expect the consumer to be able to receive and claim a full refund. So that is something that we need to be aware of. If you have any of those situations in your business, addressing your refund policy is going to be important at this time. Of course, as a business owner, we don't want to be paying out lots of money from our business. We want to be preserving cash as much as possible, but we do need to make sure that we are not going against consumer rights and consumer regulations and the protection that is in place for consumers as a result of this. So that's really important to remember as well. Excuse me. So if you are just joining us, we are speaking about coronavirus UK business and the various updates that have been announced and the things that are in place at the moment. Hello, Jay. Thank you so much for joining me. I do appreciate you hopping in. I appreciate everyone that is watching. My name is Annette Ferguson. I'm CEO of Annette & Co, UK-based accounting firm. I'm a chartered accountant and certified Profit First professional, and I am going live every single weekday at 11 a.m. to cover the UK business updates in relation to coronavirus and in relation to the economy in general. So what else I want to cover today is UK regulators are seeking out a court ruling on business interruption insurance. We've heard a lot of businesses are being told that they cannot claim under their business interruption insurance. And that's come as a shock to a lot of people because, of course, you know, we would take out business interruption insurance for things like this, for completely unseen things that mean that we cannot operate a business. And that has happened. And a lot of insurers are saying, oh no, it's not covered. So the UK regulator has actually said that they are going to take this to court. The FCA, they're going to speed up the process and take commonly used policy wording to the courts and get it ruled on exactly what it means and whether the insurers would have to pay out on that basis. There is a huge number of fears that businesses are actually going to go bust before this is resolved, which is why the FCA has accelerated this forward and said, no, we are going to take some common terms to court to try and avoid that happening. And where necessary, allow businesses to be paid out under their insurance, under their business interruption insurance scheme. we are seeing that 500,000 UK firms are at risk of collapse, according to Big Beast Trainer. This is a report I mentioned a few days ago. There are some expansions on that now, though. What we're seeing is that many professionals have been asked to take pay cuts, work reduced hours, or consider sabbaticals to limit layoffs after the support comes to an end. There has also been reports of increasing demand on the bank of mum and dad at the same time as well, putting a lot of pressure on a lot of people from different areas. Good morning, James. Thank you so much for joining me. I really appreciate it. We're seeing that personal insolvencies before this pandemic hit, personal insolvencies were already on the rise, and we're seeing an increased number of people coming forward with severe problems. Some insolvency practitioners have said that there is a vast number of people in this short space of time putting their hands up and saying, I am unable to cope. They are staggered by the numbers. That is very worrying, of course, for all areas. In all honesty, it's worrying for all areas of the economy. Good morning, Sarah. Thank you for joining me. I do appreciate the good morning is when you guys hop on. Like I said, if you know that you enjoy what I share and you know that you typically get value from my live streams, please do send this out. Please do share it, send it out to your followers, your friends, your likers, whichever platform you are on. I would highly, highly appreciate that as well. Coming back to the issue of insolvencies, personal insolvencies, there has specifically been mentioned the issue with limited company directors, and limited company directors in their swathes are coming forward and saying that they are at risk of personal insolvency as a result of this. There is, incidentally, if you are in that position, if you are in the position where you are really struggling now and you are, you have perhaps debt repayments and those kinds of things, and you're having some problems, there is a business debt line that is a free dedicated debt advice service for self-employed business owners and small business owners, small limited company owners. If you Google business debt line, you'll be able to find them if you need to speak to anyone on that. So please bear that in mind. If you are in this position where you feel like insolvency may be your route, it may be your option, then please do get in touch with Business Deadline to see if they can support and help you as well. James, you are more than welcome to ask another furlough question. That is no problem at all. Please do ask away. And if anyone does have any questions, you are more than welcome to ask those in the comments. Please do that. I will answer any questions I possibly can all around this subject, all around UK business, around the economy, excuse me, around support for coronavirus at this point in time when it comes to the economics. What I cannot answer, and I sometimes get asked, is any medical questions. I'm not a doctor, I'm an accountant. I can't answer questions on anything medically related, but anything business related, economy related, I absolutely can. So please do ask in the comments. Excuse me again, I'm very sorry. I've got a real tickle in my throat. So UK restaurants are warning that social distancing will put them out of business. They are saying their margins are way too thin to support fewer customers, and 3/4 of restaurant and bar openers say their businesses will just not survive social distancing. Again, this is something that I referred to a few days ago, and that is being reiterated now again, because if we have to reduce capacities of things like restaurants and bars, then in most instances it's not worth the restaurant or bar opening up. They're actually going to cost them more money to open than it would to remain closed. Many cannot cope at a reduction of 60 to 70% capacity. It just doesn't work from their own economics. So this is going to put a real pressure on that industry as to what to do as measures may ease if we are still under the place of where we have to social distance, which, it's being suggested that might be for a very long time until a vaccine is actually discovered, or produced. So we need to watch for that. And, other businesses can easily be impacted by this as well, in terms of if you are actually able to run the business at adhering to social distancing measures. This can affect a number of places as well. Let's see what questions we've got coming in. If you trade stocks, am I allowed to deduct trading advisory services? John, do you mean if you are running stock trading as a business, are you allowed to deduct advisory services from your costs? I'm not sure if that's what your question is, John, on Periscope, but if it is, let me know. Also, what I am speaking about is UK laws. So if you are in a different country, I don't know, I wouldn't know the answer to that, and I wouldn't be able to answer that. But let me know if you are in the UK, and if that is the question that you're asking. I just want to be clear on how I answer that, depending on exactly what you're asking there. But thank you for asking a question. Any questions, you are more than welcome to ask them. What we also have today is Jez Stanley Barkley asking if this is the end of the office as we know it. He has said that the notion of putting 7,000 people in a building may be a thing of the past. Again, this is something that I have spoken about a few days ago, was this idea that perhaps actually the situation may be that businesses have found a new way of working, and potentially that new way of working is going to actually filter into how we work and how we're going to change things going forward. And what is good for the business, the employees, mental health, less travel might be a great thing for many, many people, being able to work from home. It might be a horrendous thing being able to work from home for many people. So it does vary depending on the individual as well. So, reassessing that seems like a great idea. For my business, we've all worked at home for 10 years. And many accountants will say that they can't possibly work from home because they have lots of paper files. So, what works for one person does not work for other people. Thank you, Susanna, for joining me. I do appreciate it. Thank you for the hellos. Thank you, Pink Glitter Bread. I do appreciate you hopping on. We are speaking about coronavirus and UK business, the updates, the support available. That is what we are talking about today. James is asking a question. I got my first furlough payment today. I got furloughed from the 1st of April and get paid weekly. So I have received 1 week's pay. Should I have received all the money for April and here on after receive weekly payments? James, this is interesting because the minimum period you can be furloughed for is 3 weeks. So what should have happened is that the claim that you had in, the claim that went in for your salary, should have been a 3-week claim at minimum. So it's very strange that you have received 1 week's pay, unless the only thing that I can think that may have happened, and this might be potential, is if you were actually not furloughed from the 1st of April, but you were indeed furloughed from the date of lockdown, 23rd of March, and you have had a claim in for that last period in March, and then you will have a claim for the whole of April, and the amount you've been paid out is that last week in March, potentially. It seems a little odd, James. Maybe pop me a direct message and we can have a chat through this a little bit more, because that seems strange, that situation. So pop me a direct message and I will chat to you a little bit more and dig in a little bit deeper to that, because that doesn't sound right to me. So let's try and figure out what's happened there. What else are we seeing? The Treasury are in talks with business groups to allow companies to claim support from its furlough scheme for staff returning to work part-time under plans to gradually reopen the economy. So this links again to what I spoke about a couple of days ago, whereby there was a discussion around how do we come out of this? What does that look like? Can there be some kind of gradual phase out of furlough? What might that look like? How might that work? This is now happening in talks with the Treasury and business groups. They want to have a flexible ramp up happening. Nothing has been agreed upon so far, but they're wondering if they can take people back, say part-time and paid part furlough, part working, and see how that works. There's obviously major worries about fraud and how to police this, because how do you prove that somebody is working at 60% capacity or 40% capacity becomes very difficult. So there are some big worries, and rightly so, around that. But this system has been introduced and being now allowed in France and Germany. So there is potentially an opportunity to have it in the UK as well, and to argue that therefore, it would be a good idea to have this kind of situation in the UK too. Bounce back loans. These are the loans that were announced at the beginning of the week. These are the loans that are from £2,000 to £50,000, 100% guaranteed by the government, with zero repayments required for interest, fees and repayments in the first 12 months. System is due to open on Monday. System is due to open on Monday the 4th. That is when the system is due to go live. Now, there was a number of worries around that the banks were saying, we don't know how we can do this, because we believe that it's against the Consumer Credit Act to have that much of lending without any credit checks, consumer checks. The banks have been given assurance by the UK government, excuse me, over the legal and regulatory framework, but industry executives are seeking clarity over how to act if the scheme results in high levels of default or fraud. So those little points are being ironed out at the moment. We wait to see on Monday what the terms and conditions are of these loans, if there's anything that is restricted. We know that in some countries with loans and grants, they have been told that they cannot do things like pay dividends for a year, those kinds of things. We do not know what will apply for these loans, if there's going to be any restrictive covenants in there yet. We will find out hopefully over the weekend, but probably, let's face it, on Monday when they open. So that remains to be seen. I also spoke a couple of weeks ago about, the various retailers on the high street and the outlook for them, and a number had already folded. We spoke about Oasis and Warehouse folding, and they were looking for a buyer for them. A buyer has not been found, which means that all online outlets, 92 stores and 400 plus concessions will close indefinitely, resulting in 1,300 job losses. This will not be the first of a swathe of job losses that happens as a result of this situation, as a result of this crisis. We are being told that the people on furlough are essentially the hidden unemployed. We've heard that many times. I've spoken about that many times as well. And that is one big area that we are going to, it's going to be a worrying place and a worrying time as we come out of this. Hence, of course, the measures that are being looked into in terms of part-time furlough and those kinds of things to try and help businesses and help, get the economy working. But of course, then there's the argument, are we going to bounce back? Are we going to be in a deep U-shaped recession? I've made my views very clear on that I believe we'll be in a deep U-shaped recession. I would love to say, of course, that I think we'll be in bounce back and everything will be beautiful, but I just don't think that's the case. Many economists also are coming out and saying that now as well, that they cannot see how we could bounce back, how the economy could bounce back, and that it feels like we'll be in it for the long run. Typically, recessions last between 2 and 3 years. So this is not necessarily something that we can suddenly spring out of. Also, we'll be going into recession in a much more severe way than historically has been. Usually recessions, you kind of tail off down into recession. With this, we've basically slammed headfirst into it because of the sudden shutdown of everything. So that is going to have an impact as well. And it doesn't look like a positive one. There are many people now reporting and saying that it will probably be similar to the Great Depression, which is, a very grim state of affairs for many people. And we need to be prepared for that. We need to be going into this as business owners with our eyes open. If we are in recession, what do you need to be doing in your business? What does your business look like? Can you still serve the same people in the same way with the same products and services as you are just now? Or if you are unable to operate just now as you were before we came into this crisis, What does that look like for you? What do you need to change in your messaging? What do you need to change in your marketing? How can you make sure that your business is going to survive, not just coronavirus, but a recession beyond? Incredibly important to think about and understand. And Sarah is saying, let's hope it's not a depression. Absolutely, Sarah. We can hope that, but we just don't know at the moment, unfortunately. Excuse me. So, lawyers have warned that employers could face legal claims after lockdown ends with a barrage of claims. Again, this is something that I've been speaking about for a few weeks now, is that I absolutely expect that to happen as well. Not just on the health and safety front, that, you can easily see how that may happen. People being forced to go back to work, social distancing not being adhered to, someone gets ill or worse. You can see how health and safety claims are going to come about because of that. But we're also potentially going to see discrimination claims as a result of furlough. So who has been chosen to go on furlough, who hasn't, and do they have a discrimination claim as a result of that? Was furlough done in a way that adhered to all rules and regulations and laws? That will be the question. We are also seeing that there are 3 new funds for Scottish businesses as well. 3 new grant funds available. These are only for Scottish businesses. They are not for businesses in England and Wales. But the 3 funds are, one, a Pivotal Enterprise Resilience Fund. That is for businesses who are playing a critical role in supporting the Scottish recovery. There's a list of what that means on the website, so you can go and check that out. And it's going to be kind of means tested. It says that the level of employment and wages in the local area will be taken into consideration. It's not said how much each business will get. It will be means tested on the business, and it will be means tested on the impact that the business is potentially making as well. Secondly, there is the Creative Tourism and Hospitality Enterprises Hardship Fund. These are grants of up to £25,000, and they are only for businesses who are not eligible already for the £25,000 grant that is being given to businesses in these sectors that have premises. So if you don't have premises and you're in these sectors, then potentially this grant may be for you. It is worth checking out. What it says is that you have to be vital to the local, regional, or national economy in order to qualify. And the third of these Scottish grants that has been announced are for the newly self-employed hardship fund. This is a one-off payment of £2,000. You have to show that you were trading already, but that you didn't have a previous personal tax return submitted. You became self-employed after the 6th of April 2019. They will ask for copies of things like bank statements, invoices, and that kind of thing to support that. So those are 3 new funds that are available for Scottish businesses. As I say, they are not available for businesses in England and Wales. There are obviously calls for councils and things in England and Wales to announce similar measures, but we do not have those as yet. Now, let me check to see if I have any questions coming through that I have not already answered. Let's see. Do we have any questions coming through? I cannot see anything there. Let's have a look over here. There we go. Nothing on this feed, and let's have a look over here on this one. Okay, lovely. So we don't have any questions. If there are any questions that you have around this topic, around these topics of UK business, the economy, support for coronavirus, do let me know in the comments. What have we got here? Okay, so I think it's Super Ultra Robin says, how long can I avoid registering as a sole trader for? You need to register within 3 months of starting your sole trade. That is the rules with HMRC. So within 3 months, you have to inform HMRC that you are trading as a sole trader, Robin. That's the rules with that one. Any other questions that we have coming through? I cannot see any other questions. In which case I just want to let you know that I will be back at 11 a.m. again on Monday. Similar format, going through updates in relation to UK business, in relation to the economy as well, and what that means for all of us going forward. If you enjoy what I share, I would love if you want to share this out onto your various channels. It would mean a huge amount to me. I'd also love if you are not already a member, I would love to invite you to join me inside the Uncover Wealth community. That is my private Facebook group. I would love for you to join me there. You can just go to Facebook and type in Uncover Wealth community and find us that way. Or if you are on various platforms, if you are on TikTok, if you are on Instagram, and if you are on Periscope or Twitter, you will be able to find a link in my bio, which you can click on. It gives you various resources, and one of the things in there is a link to join the Uncover Wealth community. So I would love if you want to join me in there. It would be great to see you in the Uncover Wealth community. I do exclusive trainings every Tuesday for that group. They're not done anywhere else. So I would love to have you there. I also have a podcast, Uncover Wealth Radio. Again, it has some exclusive content in there. So you can hop into iTunes. You can hop in Spotify. I think we're also on Google Podcasts. You can hop in there and check out Uncover Wealth Radio. Come and subscribe for some more exclusive content as well. That is going to be highly applicable to you if you are running a UK business at this point in time. Thank you so much for tuning in. As always, I appreciate your time massively. I hope that this session has been useful for you. As always, I am back at 11 a.m. on Monday. I hope you have a wonderful weekend. I hope that it is able to feel a little bit like a weekend. Days for many people can feel very strange at the moment. So I hope you managed to get some relaxation time. I hope that you managed to enjoy the weekend. And I will speak to you all again on Monday. Take care, everyone.